Jason Frosty Radio, where we discuss the unidentified, the unexplainable, paranormal, conspiracies, and much more. Starring your hosts and co-hosts, Jenny Nicasio, Sean Kelly, Trish Lowe, and Jason Sledgehammer Ryan Petro. Brought to you by UPRN Network. Now for your host, Jenny Nicasio.
Good evening and welcome to Chasing Prophecy on the UPRN FM 105 radio network, live from New Orleans, where we discuss anything and everything beyond the scope of normal. I'm Jenny Nicasio, along with my co-host Sean Kelly, Jason Ian Petro, and Trish Lowe. I just want to say follow us on YouTube and Facebook. And the first part of our show today is brought to you by the TNA Podcast, the show with two guys, Jason Roach and Sam Hall, shooting the breeze about nothing at all. They take questions from their audience on a wide range of subjects, but I can tell you one thing and promise you there's no politics. Their podcast is there solely to make you laugh. Okay, guys? Unscripted and unfiltered. Not the easily offended should listen, okay? I just want to make sure. But it's all in fun, so you can enjoy it. They're available for download on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and Amazon Music. Check them out on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok. Their website is www.theandapodcast.com.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
There, guys.
We are cheerful tonight, aren't we?
Woo! Coke. Okay. Oh, well, we have a lot to talk about today. But first,
well, happy Torture Tuesday.
Yes.
Going to be tortured.
Torture Tuesday.
It's always a Torture Tuesday.
I love Torture Tuesday. You know, it could be Depressing Wednesday, but it is Torture Tuesday. Hi, Trish.
Well, Wednesday's hump day, isn't it?
Yeah,
tomorrow
Wednesday's hump
Got
day.
to get over the hump.
If we can get over the hump, yeah. I am looking forward to the weekend. Yes. So, are you guys all ready for a fabulous show?
Of course.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we have a lot to talk about. We are going to talk about a haunted house in Hinsdale, New York. Perhaps the most famous haunted house in the area. Has all the elements of a good ghost story, a mysterious history, strange sightings, and the unexplainable. Jason, you like that, huh?
Oh, yes.
And even exorcism, Sean.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
Yes.
The house on McConan, is that how you say it? Road? First gained a notoriety when a book of Echoes of the Hauntings. Claire and Phil Dandy lived in the house along with their children in the early 1970s. During their time, they were visited by many spirits. A priest from okay, that's right. You know me with words. St. Bonaventure University. Is that how you say it, guys?
Yep. That's how you say it.
I'm not really good with words. Was at the house more than on one occasion. Exorcisms. Oh, yeah, they worked out for a while, but as time went by, the Dandy family, I like that name, Dandy family, lost the battle and ended up leaving the house for good. As the years passed, okay? Passed by. A few families have lived in the home but didn't stay
So,
long.
Sean, I like how you redecorated half of your room there.
I love it too.
Thanks.
Like
Hey,
right in the
he's
center.
trying.
I'm getting there,
The
dude.
outside edge is old school.
It looks
getting
good. But guys, stay on track. This is where
I'm
Daniel.
getting there.
Okay, Sean, how do you pronounce this? Clays?
Klaus.
A chapter in the story starts. Daniel purchased the infamous house and put it back together into a functional condition. Today, Daniel lets teams investigate, which is really cool, like you guys, and the hopes that the property gives them the mystery and hopefully a ghost too, like Mrs. Muir's ghost on, Ghost of Mrs. Muir. Well, anyways, I'm so happy to bring our guests into the show. Welcome to Chasing Prophecy program, Daniel.
Hey,
Thanks
Daniel.
for having me. How's it going, guys?
All right, buddy. You Buffalo Sabre fan, huh?
Yeah,
Pittsburgh.
unfortunately.
Now you're in New York.
I'm
How's
in
the
Buffalo,
weather?
New York. Weather outside is frightful.
Frightful.
No, I'm kidding. It's nice.
And his
It's
coffee
nice.
is delightful.
Well, didn't you
That,
get like 30 inches of snow or something like that?
Yeah, light dusting for Buffalo.
The
We
light
handled
dusting.
it. We drove in it. We're good.
Oh, light dusting. Okay. That's good. Okay,
We
Daniel.
haven't had snow like that in a long time though, but it's we did get a ton, and we're expected to get another foot tomorrow, I think.
Wow.
Wow.
That's great.
Yeah.
Damn.
Okay, we are not. Okay, there seems to be an issue with the chat, guys.
There is.
There is. I see comments.
Okay, I
Yeah.
just got a text message that you can't see anybody. Okay, can you guys see us okay? And if you can't, let us know. You can talk to us, ask questions for our wonderful guest about the haunting. So make sure if you have a question, put it into
Are
the
there any
chat.
guests here?
Well, we have okay, there's some people out there. Okay, some of us can see. Some of us can see us. Some of us
It's
some
the
of them
wintertime gremlins is what it is.
If you can see, type into the chat. Just say hello.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we can see how many
check,
people can see.
Yeah, really, because we want you guys to participate in the show tonight. So if you have any questions for Daniel or any of our investigators and Trish, please say
My
something.
mom's in there. My mom's in the
Good,
comments.
Mom. Hi, Mom.
Yeah.
Augie.
Hey, Augie.
Hello,
here.
Augie. Well, hello, everybody. Okay, so let's talk about your haunted house.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have the floor. I'm going to give it all up to you, and I'm going to bring you up by yourself so you can talk to
Oh boy.
our guests.
So I'm alone here. So yeah, I mean, this house is a location. Now, I'm a paranormal investigator. I have my own team, and this was a location that I had gone to with my team probably about 10 years ago now. It's crazy. Didn't own it yet. The house was in pretty bad disrepair. It was one of the most active locations that I ever gone to, and I hadn't been investigating for quite a while. I didn't know that there was failed exorcism in the house the first time I went. I trusted my teammates, and they got me there and had me sit in the living room when we arrived and watched the episode of A Haunting, A Dark Forest, which is based on the story of this house, this family that moved there from Buffalo. And then it had poltergeist-like activity happening. Family was very affected by what was going on outside and inside the house, to the point where they were consulting with a priest from St. Bonaventure University. The priest did come and bless the house. The priest came and then did a mass in the house with the family. Then he also got a structural exorcism approved. He had brought in a psychic, Alex Tanis from the Tanis Foundation, a film crew from New York City, and came and performed a structural exorcism in this location. Now, this is before the movie Poltergeist came out. This is before The Exorcist. So this was all very taboo, and this family was tormented by the local newspapers. They had to actually have security in their driveway because people were all coming down there to see the ghosts and the spirits that were happening on this property. And basically, when it ramped up again after they had this failed exorcism, the priest told the family, "My best advice is for you to leave." The house had guests and people coming in and out, different families living there throughout the years, and none stayed very long except for the last family, the Misnick family. And we've been slowly interviewing these families that have lived there, getting their takes on what have happened to them, and been researching the place. Nobody's going to live there. I bought the place to use as a paranormal research center, and to really be able to dig in and dive into some of the folklore and the stories that are associated with the house. And that's all we've been doing since I've purchased it, is renovating it, making it stable, and researching it. And the teams that come in help with the research. We're all, I try to make it like a big family, so everybody works together. Everybody leaves their research there, so other teams can look at and see what other teams experienced when they were there, maybe picking out some of the hot spots at the location. And we also have really good tour guides, myself and the other crew that work there, that will help the teams that come in to kind of give them advice as where maybe they can go, what they can look at, what they can use, names. We also have the chalice from the priest that performed the exorcism. We found Native American arrowheads in the ground when we were digging a new septic system. There's a lot of folklore, a lot of elements, and a lot of layers of this house. And I allow the teams to utilize these trigger items when they come there to try to get better evidence when they're investigating. So I think knowledge is power. I've never experienced anything. They said it was demonic back in the 70s. There's definitely a heavy hitting energy there as far as a spirit goes. But I've been involved with 2 demonic cases in my life, and this is not definitely something compared to those 2. I mean, there's ways of suppressing what's going on there, and kind of ignoring it and moving on to something else. And I always tell the teams that come there, stay on your toes. Stay together.
Oh, yeah.
That's fascinating. Sean,
Dude,
I said a lot in a few minutes.
That's
but
That's-
okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
stories could go like this. I can
That's
expand
all
the
right.
stories. But
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for coming on the show, and second of all, having us in September. We're
Yeah.
looking forward to coming on. Is around the house, the property around the house, is there a lot of activity in the area, like outside the house and around it?
Yeah, they call it the Enchanted Mountains, where the house sits, and it sits on top of a hill with a water source. There's an underground aquifer that we found that actually fills the pond.
Wow.
And there's actually another aquifer in the pond that pumps upwards towards the house, and we've actually used heat guns and everything to actually follow it right by the house. It's really cool. So there's definitely definitely a water source, which is a conduit for
Nice.
energy. The house, you get a ton of activity on the outside of the house, linked to Native Americans. We've had Native American chief in a full headdress that we've caught a picture of in the driveway, an Indian woman out by the pond.
and you have these pictures?
Oh yeah, we have, and many teams have captured them. We have a lot of them on our Facebook page for people to look at on my team page. We've captured a woman in white out by the pond, a little boy wandering outside the house and inside the house, a man in overalls. I know I've captured a full body apparition of Laura Dandy. She was one of the family members that lived there in the 70s that committed suicide. She was the one that was most affected by the energies at that house.
Mm-hmm.
And I showed the picture and I'm friends with Clara Dandy, the woman that lived there in the 70s. She lives in Oregon now, and she's in her 80s. And my one of my main purposes is to make sure that her story is told the right way and told properly, because so much, when time passes, it's funny because so much, even when I bought the house, she was pissed at me. She's like, I don't like this guy, he is, because you hear stories, and as they're passed along from generation to generation, things get added in to make it sound more scary, or things, the story changes. So part of what I do is try to make sure that the story stays on the same level, same playing field that it was back in the 70s, not adding all this little extra stuff to it to try to make it sound better. It is what it is. They experience what they experience, and we don't. Their story enough is enough craziness to make somebody want to investigate there. You don't need to add more to it, So, but the outside of the house, it's very active. From the grounds to the back of the house, there's definitely a native element there as well. You're hearing like whistles, drum beats coming from the forest, and we can't find out where they're coming from. And many teams have heard this stuff. It's like a flute or a chanting coming. It's really cool and weird at the same time.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I was going to ask, I'm in the Midwest. I know a lot of the listeners might not be familiar with where exactly the house is located in New York, and maybe what Native American tribes were in that area.
Yeah, so we've dated it back to the 1700s. It's the Renway Indian tribe, which later became Senecas. They kind of kept absorbing each other until they became the Senecas. They originally were mound builders, but the Senecas aren't mound builders. The Hinsdale house is located in the southern tier of western New York State, so it's south of Buffalo, New York, north of Erie, Pennsylvania.
That's cool. How far from Erie are you?
Like 45 minutes to an hour.
Oh, that's good. You're not far from us.
No.
Daniel, I was trying to find your picture. You were talking about it's on your Facebook page?
Hinsdale house page.
Yeah, I couldn't find the picture.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah, I was trying to find the picture of what you were talking about, but is there a certain place for it on the Facebook page?
I could try to find it real quick.
Okay, I was just trying to find it so I did find, the one house, but I wanted to find the actual what you were talking
Well, there's
about.
2 pages. There's the Hinsdale House Restoration Project and the Hinsdale House as well.
Maybe I'm on the wrong page. And
Well,
this is the house. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Is
Yep.
that the house you're talking about?
Yeah.
So this is the house that's this is the Hinsman house. So if you have any questions in the chat, please direct them to Daniel. He'll be happy to answer them. That's a pretty cool house. And
Yeah, it is.
I think
That
it's,
is.
yeah, it's a pretty neat house.
How
So I
many
think-
floors?
How many what floor? Oh, it's a basement and upper and lower floor.
Well.
It's a small little farmhouse. I mean, it's nothing huge.
So I think I saw something the other day on Facebook that you guys are having a couple issues from weather on the
Yeah.
house, caused some turmoil. So now that going through and fixing what Mother Nature did or whatever, I didn't see extents of it or anything.
No, it was
but,
actually a group that stayed there, turned the heat off
okay.
in the house.
Oh, that ain't good. But I was wondering if with whatever you got to fix up, if that'll like stir up more activity. Do you think up
We
there?
fixed up a lot in the house already. It's not a situation where I feel like it gets any busier as far as the activity goes because it's very active. I mean, you can be sitting in the living room and hearing footsteps upstairs in the middle of the day. The energy's there. The energies there definitely like to make themselves known as far as when people are there. And I've experienced just as much activity during the day that I do at night. So
That's pretty cool. Trish, do you have
definitely.
any questions?
No, I was trying to, pick up on the energy from the picture of the house. I know I used to live in Buffalo. I had never heard of that house.
I didn't either until I went there.
Who is there any recent activity? How far further back did there was there any evidence or anything that someone picked up? Like, is there anything that stands out?
I mean, in the past like the last 2 years, we've been able to the thing was the house was a land lease. It was a leased land, and it was hard because the company that owned it didn't you weren't able to just access the records from the house. You weren't able to just access things. So now that I actually own the house,
you can go back.
I can go back, and we were starting to research some of the names of the families that live there, and we've gotten stories because the whole thing is we were focusing on the exorcism, the Dandy family. And I'm like, there's got to be other families that had experienced something like this before, and finally we were able to get a hold of some of these families and hear some of their experiences, and it's really hearing stories from a family that lived there in 76 for a little while, saying that they saw a young kid saw a little boy levitating over the pond. He drove his snowmobile into the pond because he thought it was iced over, and then he got his uncle from the house to help him pull the snowmobile out, and when he turned around, he saw a family levitating over the pond. Didn't look like they had feet, though, he said.
Was it the whole family or just the little boy?
No, this was a family of 3.
No, why would they be levitating above the pond? Were they they drowned in the
part
pond?
of my theory is all can I swear? All crap hit the fan.
Okay.
Back when I was going to say the S word, but all crap hit the fan when this family moved in. It was originally 100-acre plot. The company that bought it in the 70s late 69 sub-parceled the property out into 10-acre plots, built like cabins, hunting cabins on the other properties, and kept that house on that 10 acres. Then they built the ponds on all the properties. And when the pond was dug, that's when they all everything started happening. All of a sudden, all these accounts of energies started happening with the family in the house, and that's when they started the recording stuff back in the 70s, 72, 73, 74. And ever since then, now we have accounts from each decade, 70s, 80s, 90s, from families that have lived there, that have experienced things.
What kind of equipment do you guys?
I was just going to ask that.
We're channeling each other.
I was literally just about to ask that.
We use everything. I mean, from spirit boxes to metaphysical. I mean, just using metaphysics when you go there. I love getting different takes from different people and how and watching how they investigate. And a lot of the times you're having maybe a psychic come in and experiencing something and actually drawing a face of something that somebody else has a picture of, which is really cool. I mean, you can use photography, you can use spirit boxes, you can use recorders, you name it. I mean, people have experienced Ouija boards. I don't know how you feel about those, but
what's your favorite piece of equipment?
My GeoBox probably.
Okay.
George Brown, he made those. He's out of Cleveland, but I've had really good success with it, and I probably have good 40, 50 boxes. I probably don't want to say how many boxes I have because my wife will probably disown me. But, I like to experiment with, if somebody invents something or tries a different way with a spirit box. I like to experiment with the white noise, and the whatever George did in his box clears up the white noise a lot, and you're actually able to hear the voices coming through. And the direct responses that I get out of this box are amazing. I feel like I've connected with a close family member using this box. It's like I have a psychic medium box that I can carry around with me, utilizing it. I've had it running at the Hinsdale house during a tour, and it's picked up somebody's grandfather. And I feel like a lot of times energies are connected to the people that come there with them. And I've also connected with a psychic that I used to do a podcast with. Bernice Golden, and she came through on that box while I had it running at the Hinsdale house when I was doing a live, like on my Facebook page. And I don't know, I've just had some really good success with that. I don't count anything out though. Like I just as much like to use a recorder, but I feel like that takes away from the energies trying to communicate. You know what I mean? I feel like, okay, we have to ask questions, pause, then get the answers, then go back, ask questions again. Hopefully we don't lose their interest. So that's why I kind of like utilizing the spirit box a little bit more. But,
how many portals would you say are in that house?
Like one.
Just one?
Yeah, okay. I think. But some people said there's a portal in the closet and then in Mary's room.
The closet?
I really feel strong about the one in Mary's room, but I also feel like it could have shifted because so many people scry in the closet because there's a mirror in there. Okay. When I bought the house, Mary's room back in the 70s was actually boarded up, and they didn't let anybody go in there. But all there's an infestation of flies.
Ooh.
That's actually, they all gear towards that
That's
room.
the sign of the devil.
Yeah, but I've also had ladybugs. I've also had, and I also had bees. Like when I bought
bees too.
500,000 honeybees in the floorboards.
Holy smokes!
Is there a well near the house?
There is that I found. We just found it.
Daniel, sorry, Trish. He's been sitting there for a while. It's poor John. He wants to know how old is the little boy
that drowned?
How old little boy got drowning in the pond? Who drowns in the pond?
He didn't drown in the pond. There's a little boy that actually. There was a barn there where the pond used to be, and we actually have the death records from 1948. He was coming up from Wagner Hill Road. He was playing on the buzzsaw behind the barn. The chain snapped and cracked him in the head, and he died. And a lot of people associate this. A lot of people associate that little boy with him. I don't know if that's the case. There could be other energies, other spirits on that property.
Go ahead, Trish. Sorry to interrupt you.
The well.
Yes.
And there's something about a trust fund in the past. There was some conflict with a trust fund. I don't know why they're telling me that or what that has to do with the well, but the well, there's something in the well.
The well's covered over.
Yes. Said something about a dried up well near the house and a hilltop. Is there a Forest Service that I get? Well, I mean, there's probably Forest Service everywhere in the area that I guess before you own land, maybe that something, maybe they have records of something that happened in the past.
Of what?
I don't know.
She's a psychic.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
medium.
I'm trying to pick up on that.
She's getting these.
I don't
She's
know.
getting some kind of download from somewhere.
No, because we've had find like EVPs of help find it, things like that. And now the well is out by, this was all grown over, and we've been actually taking back the property, and this well, you can see it. It's like right at the foot of the where the forest starts and goes up a hill, and there's steps that go up the hill.
That must be. You're talking about the hilltop.
Yeah.
Something about the hilltop and the.
No, I have pictures.
Tribes.
I have pictures of this hilltop from like the 50s that with no trees on it. But now it's like there's so many trees. It's like a forest. It's been growing for 70, 60 years. And it probably looks a lot different than it did back then.
Hmm.
And then something about the master bedroom as well. Is there?
I mean, it's the master. There's only one. I mean, there's a master bedroom. It's the biggest bedroom in the house. It's the only bedroom with the closet in it. And we get a ton of activity up there as far as like shadow people.
Is there a desk in there?
Yes, we have a desk in there.
Where did the desk come from?
The desk came in 2 summers ago. We bought it from an estate sale to use it for a reenactment for a television show pilot that we were doing for the house.
Daniel, have you ever talked to the priest that
He's
was
dead.
there? He's dead?
Yeah, I've talked to other priests.
Mm-hmm.
I've had them there. I've had shamans. I've had witches. I've had all different types of lay people there because I feel like there's so many different layers at that house. And for a structural exorcism not to work only tells me that possibly that leg of the religion probably wasn't the right way to approach to the house to try to heal it in a way. So that's why we've been trying to bring all different layers there. And it seems to be lightening up a lot. And it seems that the more that we put into it, the more love that we put into it, the more answers we get.
Mm.
So
when you go there, what do you feel when you walk in? What kind of presence do you get?
I get an old lady that
an
I
old lady?
connected with. Yeah, Flo Misnick. She's like a keeper. She connected with me like right away, like right before the house was supposed to be taken down. It was supposed to be taken, knocked down. All the electrical and the ductwork was ripped out of it. And we were there basically saying goodbye to the location. And I was in the kitchen, just me, Cameron, and our person filming. And I had a K2 meter in my hand. That's it. The camera had a recorder. There was no electricity in the house. There's no, running water, no way for rhyme or reason for any electrical fluctuations. And he just kept talking about the exorcism. And it was like, I just felt like this is dead, and I had started researching them. I found videos of them that when they lived there. And I said, Flo, are you here? I just right in the middle of, he's like, who the heck is Flo? And I had the K2 meter in my hand, and it went all the way up to 500 milligauss. And I got a jolting sensation of electricity up my arm. I instantly had goosebumps. And then I continued for probably the next 15 minutes asking questions of Flo. And then I also said, Flo, will you hold my hand as we go up the stairs? And the K2 meter stayed lit in my hand as I slowly walked up the stairs. And it was like the most compelling thing to me. It was like that was the turning point for me to try to save the location, because I felt like there's energies here that need to have their voice spoken. They need to be able to hear what they have to say. And there's so much mystery with this location So I immediately tried to save it, tried to be able to purchase it so we could save it. I lost her though when we went into Mary's room. Now the
No,
thing,
who is Mary? And before we go on, Chris wants to know, what is the Facebook account page of Gentlemen with what is your
it's
Facebook
just
account?
the Hinsdale House Restoration Project.
Okay. So what's Mary's deal?
Mary's still
She had a
alive.
little lamb.
But her room is the one that all the psychics say there's a portal. That's where all the flies are.
Is
That's
that
where
in
all
the
the
closet?
No, that's right off the master bedroom.
Wow.
That's connected to the master bedroom.
So the portal is is in the master bedroom, not into a closet or dresser of some kind of.
I don't know.
of
I don't
You
know.
know, for me, what I'm pretty interested when we go up in September is doing the outside, especially out in the woods, investigating the woods and seeing what, for some reason, I'm getting drawn to the woods.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So I'll have my crew in the house and I'm going to go out into the woods. I don't know. I just feel like, that it's just a very interesting place. And somehow I feel the way I feel is it's from the woods. It's coming from the woods because a lot of the Native Americans, in some places over Jason's around his place, a lot of the Native Americans would protect, a building if like out of harm. Now, do you go to the woods and give the Native American spirits gifts like
We do.
tobacco, oranges? What?
I actually leave tobacco so teams can give it as an offering when they go to the forest, because a lot of what we've been doing is we have like an offering tree up in the forest, and it looks so amazing right now because it's been years of accumulation gifts to that native energies that are on the property, and that was part of the healing process because I felt like it was a negative.
That's amazing.
That's nice. That's good.
I felt like it was a negative feel at the beginning, and now I feel like our worlds have combined and they are with us, working with us and assisting us in a positive way.
I believe that.
And
was there a fire in the forest before? Is that why there weren't any trees?
No, I think that's just how it was all big farmland at one point, and now the trees took it over again. Mother Nature took it over. There was a fire in a barn, the barn that was on the property. Can you guys see this picture?
I kept getting something tried to set the house on fire or something. I don't know.
Well, there is, oh, sorry, not that one. There is the energies that were in the house. A lot of the accounts, poltergeist activity, were of the stove, the gas being left on.
Yeah, so the ghost tried to set the house on fire and that there's monsters in the basement. But I feel like those messages are coming from like a child, something that's scared of the other entities, of whatever's in the basement, or some of the other, like telling on the other entities kind of.
Where is your picture at so I can try to pull it up?
This picture is actually, I'm just screen sharing it right now, but do you want me to email them to you? Or? Would that be easy?
Well, I could probably. I'm trying to think how I can pull it up.
So, Daniel, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Now, Sean and I have been on investigations in the past where, like a specific house that's pretty famous, I guess you could say, and like the first time we went there wasn't a whole lot of anything really. But then the second time it was like super active. And then after talking to the owners, they were saying like one weekend it might be real active, then the next weekend it's not, because obviously spirits need to, obtain more energy as they're wore out. Now at the Hinsdale house, it sounds like it's really active. Now, is it like consistent every weekend? Like all the groups that are there are always having stuff, or do they need to rest too?
I mean, for the most part, the energies that are there, like if it's quiet in the or in the house, the people go to the outside and maybe get stuff on the outside of the house, and then the next day they'll get stuff on the inside and not so much on the outside. So it fluctuates back and forth, but between the outside and the inside of the house, people are getting activity almost every day.
That's good.
Is there like a certain time of day? And I know you said like during the day you'll hear footsteps. Like, is there like a certain time they seem to be more active?
Not. I mean, I think that the quieter it gets, the more that you're susceptible to hearing and listening to what's going on. If you're just sitting back and listening, you'll hear it
Okay. All right. Cool.
or see it even. I mean,
Yeah,
but it's
I'm really looking forward to this. It's gonna
I
be
am
excellent.
too. I am too.
I'm
if,
bringing
if
all
you
my
if you
equipment.
don't, yeah, I mean, set it up and sit back and relax and watch a show. I mean, or hopefully get some good communication.
I
absolutely.
do have an off the subject question. We have a couple people have RVs in the group. Can we bring them up?
Well, here's the thing. You can bring them up. We had an RV down there, and the driveway is definitely big enough. But we've had some down there for filming and stuff. So I don't recommend bringing bus. It's a dirt road. Once you get off the main road and turn down McMahon Road, it's all dirt. So if it's rainy or wet, I'd hate to.
Yes.
Good.
Daniel, I sent you a message on Facebook.
Okay.
I'm not sure who I am though. I have so many different names on Facebook.
Jeez.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I'd love to see those pictures.
I just picked a few, but I'll send them over to you.
What would you say would be like your scariest moment of like owning the place or just being there? Like, I'm sure there had to be like one moment you're like, wow, that really shook me. Like, did you have any?
I mean, I've had a lot of compelling things that have happened there, but there was one that happened besides for the first time, with that whole communication with Flo Misnick. There was last June, it was just me and two of my friends that wanted to experience something at the location. And it was quiet. The inside of the house was quiet. We had got some pizza and we were just trying to see if something would happen. And it got to be about 2:30, 3 in the morning. And I said, well, let's crash, and I laid down on the big couch, and my friend laid down on the other couch, and the other girl was in Mike's bedroom. And all I had on was a nightlight in the living room. And I'm not, all the years I've been investigating, I have not one to say that, I get touched all the time or I get scratched or anything like that. And I was just kind of coddled up on the couch, and my head was facing the back of the couch, and I felt something brush the back of my head, and I turned around, and there was this shadow that was going back and forth in front of the light, and it was letting me know it was there. It wasn't anything negative or, and I said, "Hey, Haley," I go, "Look, turn over. I know you're still awake," and she turned over and she's like, "Oh my God." And she jumped onto the couch with me and she said, "You're right. Your wife won't mind." I'm like, "No, she won't." I go, just but we actually watched the shadow walking back and forth inside of the living room for about 5 minutes before it dissipated into the kitchen. We've captured this on camera so many times. One of this house is in the middle of nowhere, and there was no internet. So, and then your phone service doesn't work when you get up there because there's no towers. So it's like when I first started going there, it's like, man, what's this horror story I'm walking into right now? No way to get a hold of anybody, and it's going to be an axe murderer coming out of the woods or something. But I do have internet there now, and I did get satellite internet as soon as I could. But it was
good.
Expensive. It was like almost $300 a month to have the highest band satellite service there. And the first night that I set up a camera in the living room, a Wi-Fi camera, and I was able to watch it from my house, and I had it streaming on Paranormal Warehouse, and we had like a couple thousand people watching. And this is back before Facebook decided to limit how many people are allowed to watch your videos and stuff. And I was just answering questions about the house, and I thought this was great. The house is getting out there. People can actually see it and investigate with us while they're not there, which is kind of cool. And I had actually fell asleep on the couch. And all of a sudden, my phone woke me up because it started buzzing. And I turned my phone on, and I had all these people taking screenshots of the shadow coming into the kitchen. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, we got like the Holy Grail on the first night of the dream." It was awesome, here we are, and all these thousands of people saw a shadow figure on a live feed. It was great.
What kind of feeling did you get from the shadow?
I you know what? I'm kind of immune to it at this point. Like
Yeah.
I've been doing it for so
You
long.
don't feel
like no, I don't. I feel like a shadow to me, like this, my perception of a shadow is an energy that can't fully manifest yet, or it doesn't have enough energy to manifest. I know a lot of people have different perceptions of it, but I would walk up to a shadow and I feel like if you walk up closer to it, you can make it out better.
Some of these people say they're time travelers or something.
Yeah, I wonder who them people are, Jenny.
Now, what if one day you woke up, like you passed out on the couch, you wake up and there's a sandwich there waiting for you?
Yeah.
How would
yeah.
you feel?
Or aren't they aliens? Maybe.
Nah, I don't think
Well-
a shadow person's an alien.
Oh.
Maybe it's just a lost soul that just come to say hi.
I caught a shadow person on camera once, Daniel, when we went to the what cemetery was that called, Sean? I'm having a brain fart here. The cemetery.
Grove.
Yeah, Grove Cemetery. We went to Grove Cemetery, and I was there, I think, twice. And the second time, just snapping a bunch of pictures. And I've been an investigator since 2013, and I finally caught my first shadow man. Was that last year, the year before, Sean? I think
that was the
year before. We caught a shadow man walking right through the cemetery on camera. So it was a really cool feeling.
But I kind of feel like the energy, this shadow is consistent. It's consistent there. It's consistently there, consistently picked up on.
It's the same shadow guy.
Yeah,
that hangs around.
That's cool.
Now, does he come around when you're having beers or having pizza or just talking?
I don't drink there.
Good,
you
that's
think it's
good.
residual, like a residual?
But it's different. It comes in different ways.
Now, do these shadow people? Do some of them have like a feminine femininity? Or do they have like? Can you tell any kind of mask? Do they female or they?
I feel male to me.
Feel male presence.
Yeah.
She's asking if she's looking for a date.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the shadow.
Now,
man.
my perception of a shadow person is that the spirit is like walking on a tight wire. You know what I mean? They're half in their world, half in our world. You know what I mean? And for some reason, with the other side that they're on, that the light is flashing, or that they're putting the shadow figure.
Well, yeah.
I mean, just to add to the story. I mean, I have videos up on my YouTube page from a team. They were there, and they, the whole night they said it was a quiet night. Nothing really happened. And I had gone there a lot, and they said it was not as quiet as one of the most quietest nights that they've had there. And not that that's a bad thing, but it's she called me up freaking out, and she's like, you got to see these, you got to see these videos. Oh my God. She's sleeping on the couch, and all of a sudden it looks like an arm goes up underneath her blanket, and it lifts up and it flattens down. And then a couple seconds later, it looks like a head pops up out of her where the area is, where her stomach is, underneath the blanket, pops up, and then it pops back down, and then you see a shadow go in front of the camera, and the camera just dies.
So what are we looking at here?
So this is a picture of one of the window in Mary's room. This is the window of the house.
Definitely see a face.
Yeah, there's something there. There's something there, and it's definitely not like there's no cloth or anything that would have made that happen. So
yeah, that's creepy as hell.
Has like any of the I'm not sure, I haven't seen them all, but like Ghost Adventures or Ghost Hunters tried to contact you and come and investigate the house? So
Ghost Adventures has, and I haven't allowed them to come there. I've
Thank you. Thank you.
Nick Groff is my best friend. I've allowed him to go there with Katrina when they were filming Paranormal Lockdown.
Okay.
So Nick Groff has been there. America's Most Terrifying Locations has been there. But that's basically like as far as.
Why don't you want Ghost Adventures?
I feel like I don't like the way he investigates.
Thank you.
And I feel like he kind of over exaggerates things for television.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to like I said at the beginning, I want the true history and story to be told of this location. I don't want the focus to be on demonic, because I feel like we have the power to change that energy. And if we focus on demons, that's what we're going to get. If we focus on, that's the shadow right there.
Oh, that's
So
I get
Oh,
one.
wow.
I get a grumpy old man that was like French or something, or from.
Wow, people! I've actually had investigators from France and Canada and the French. They speak French, and they've said they've captured French EVPs at the house.
Yes. So he was
That's
something
cool.
about he hurt his hands in the war or something, but he's one that messes with people a lot there. And then there's like a little girl or something, or maybe it's the little boy that is kind of afraid, calls them monsters in the
That's so
basement.
weird.
I don't know what they're referring to as monsters. Maybe that's kind of
That could be the picture that you're seeing right now. This is
Oh,
Laura.
that is so
Oh, that's
bizarre.
neat.
That was just
That
a
is sweet.
regular Canon, no flash, like right
That's
on the.
sweet.
That's right on the.
Looks like there's
stairwell.
two people, like a little girl and someone behind her. What do you
Yeah.
guys
So
see?
there's also like a motherly type figure that holds people's hands that sit on the couch or something about that. But there's definitely the French. I don't know if he
Looks like
was.
she's holding
he was
the
French or
bandage.
He was like in the
Okay.
French war or something, but
Yeah.
Looks like she has her hands.
something
has her
about
hands.
flowers in front of the house.
That is something that. Well, so one of my volunteers is a gardener, and that's what she's been doing, is bringing a lot of like flowers and doing the gardening in front of the house.
Yes,
And,
they really appreciate that.
I figured they do, and that's what I feel about bringing like good positive energy to the location.
It raises the vibration.
The house itself and the energies that are in the house will appreciate what we're doing and know that our intentions are good when we're there trying to communicate with them.
Yeah, Tony, I think it looks like someone's holding the door to the door frame. It looks like she's like touching the door frame. You see what Tony says? He says if you look closely, it looks like the one in the door frame is looking at the other one.
The door right behind there that you can see the energy. That's her bedroom.
Oh wow!
Oh,
And what
great.
is this a shadow of just a chair, or is this a shadow figure too? What do you think?
I don't know. I know so many people have brought that up to me, but I didn't double check that when after we took the picture. I was so focused on what we caught in the doorway. I was like, oh,
It almost looks like the shadows over top of the chair or whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's like in front of it and behind it. Like if you look to the
Oh,
left.
my lights just went off.
Oh,
Cool.
somebody's
Yeah.
they're
Welcome
talking.
to our world,
Oh,
everybody.
yeah, welcome to now. If all our lights go off, then we
I'm in
better
my
just
office, so
close-
they're on a timer. I'm not,
Oh man, we were getting pumped
Damn.
up.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
You see the
That's-
screen start going,
I look
Yeah.
cooler. I look cooler now. dark.
They really
Yeah.
didn't. So the priest, they didn't like the priest because it hurts them when any exorcism hurts. That's all they kept saying. It hurts
Because they're
them.
exercising every energy out of the location.
Right. And so something about and that's when a lot of that brought up a lot of the native ancestry there too. Because in a lot of native cultures, like you don't exercise. I mean, that's highly disrespectful. Like in a lot of their cultures, as far as the way so some of that for a while might have been like almost a retaliation because of the exorcism.
And
but
I
have
feel
you
like
cleanse the mirror too? That's in that, I guess, in the master bedroom.
cleanse it.
Yeah, just from visitors there because
Yeah,
mirrors,
no, we're actually one of my workers asked if they could do that yesterday. I said, yeah.
yeah,
go
that helps because I sense
Spray away
that
works really good.
a lot of you've done a lot to raise the vibration, the energy there. But a lot of stuff that comes into places is what other people bring as well, other people's energy.
Mhm.
So I think that has a lot to do with it. Is there crown molding in the house?
Not that I know of. Now we've found many layers behind some of the old like 1970s boards and stuff like that. But I wanted to touch on, you said a soldier hurt his hand, right?
Yes.
So when we were renovating the bathroom, the whole bathroom, the floor had to be gutted. We had to put a new toilet in. It was leaking so bad, and a lot of the foundation boards were warped and ready. I mean, I could stick my hand into them. So we actually had to have the Amish build the new floorboards. And when we were that wood that was used in this house, when they built this house in 1853, there were some good parts of it left, and I gave a bunch of that wood to Jeff Fent. I don't know if you guys know who he is. He helps with a lot of locations. He's amazing. He makes spirit boxes, and his theory is if you use wood that has energy retained in it, that energy could possibly come out in the spirit box that you're using. So I gave him some of the wood, and he built a couple spirit boxes out of it. But then he said, Dan, you're never going to believe what is in this wood. And he found a bullet lodged into the wood. And it's super old, and it's because there's a lot of folklore stories about two men that lived in this house that would rape and pillage and steal people's goods from the stagecoach, store their bodies in the basement in the crawl space, and then bury them out on the house. Thing. And this was found in the woods, so I feel like it was Revolutionary War bullet. And from dating it, and we just saved it now, and I'm going to put that in the museum. But the whole area had it was a war zone at one point, and Hinsdale was burned to the ground, and Olean then became the new major city in the area, and Hinsdale had to kind of rebuild itself. It's more of a farm. It's a very, very small town now.
Have you ever used metal detectors on the hilltop or around the well? There's something about they keep calling it something like bandits and which bandits, that would date it. But that makes sense. They said buried treasure on the hilltop or something. I don't know what that means, but
wow,
maybe they buried things that they stole from people. I don't know.
Can I bring my metal detector?
Sure.
Yes.
Cool. Just sign the waiver that you leave what you find.
Yeah. Can I take a picture of it?
Yeah,
awesome.
Of course.
That's a smart
we've had some pretty cool. We found pieces of the barn. We had a forensic diver dive the pond because there's stories of a car that was supposedly in there, and then a death and drownings and stuff like that. But the only thing that they really found were remnants of the barn that burned down, and they found the aquifer that was pumping up towards the house. They put like dye in the water, and it was getting sucked up and getting pushed up towards the house. Wow. And the weird thing is it's pumping upwards. It's got power, so it's like pumping up towards the house from where it sits.
Interesting.
Pretty neat.
Very interesting.
It is, yeah.
Anything else you want to add before we let you go?
No, I just appreciate all the good teams, all the good people, all the lay people that come out there and give us their perspective. There's in my eye, there's never, I don't deter anybody from saying anything because you never know what they're going to pick up. Part of me wants to go get a shovel and drive an hour and a half right now and go start digging by the well. Because I feel like I've had EVPs, saying stuff like that. I just wouldn't know where to look. And now I'm feeling like, why wouldn't that have been a perfect place to just, dump something, put it down a well? You know what I mean? Like,
you mean like a body?
I get that there's like a map, something about under plaster, or maybe that's at the basement thing. There's a map of something that has to do with the property that's and it says something. So I don't know if there's like a body buried somewhere and treasure or something, but something about somebody was never tried for murder, no justice. I got that. But then in regards to something's under plaster or crown molding, or maybe somebody drew something, that has to do with that.
We'd have to rip everything off the walls. But we've found stuff. There used to be like a wood burning stove that sat in the middle, and then the pipes went up, and there was another one. We found like these carved bull heads two of them in the bathroom. One was in the floorboard by the toilet, and one was over on the wall, and they were kind of identical. And we researched those. I was freaked out when we first found them. I'm like, we need to leave those there. We don't want to move those. Like that could be some voodoo crap. I don't want to. Are there more of them scattered throughout this house? So I was kind of freaked out at the beginning, but then we found out that they were actually neckerchief slides from like the 1940s Boy Scouts, and then they had the hole in them, and they were carved bullheads, and the family that actually lived there, the McMahon family that lived there, they were actually scout leaders. So I don't know how they ended up where they ended up on the floorboards and stuff, but it's like you're finding history when you renovate, and you're finding things in the floorboards and the walls. We found menus from Hinsdale from like the 1940s. We found clothing, which was normal for them to stuff in as like insulation, horsehair, all different types of cool things when we did the bathroom. So
horsehair.
Yeah.
Daniel, when you acquired the house, okay. Now, was this like a foreclosure, or they just wouldn't sell it? I mean, they couldn't sell it because of the
they couldn't.
stories.
Nobody would buy it anymore because of. I mean,
of the stories.
No, I mean, number one, it had black mold all throughout the kitchen.
Yes, I got that.
500,000 honeybees living in the floorboards.
Okay, so that's why it didn't sell.
Siding. I mean, it wasn't. It was something that they bought and they made their money off tenfold.
Okay, so when you purchased the house, you knew that there was something unusual about it, or you just purchased because it was a good buy?
No, I had gone there many times investigating it, and I had so much,
Well, so you went on someone else owned it before.
Yeah,
you took it over. It wasn't the family. It was a paranormal people.
Right.
Okay. But who had it before that? Like before it became, I know you said there was a family there, but when they first sold the house
was 86.
In 1986.
That was the last family to live there. That was the Misnick family, and then it sat vacant. And it was overgrown. And
now, did anybody say why it was vacant? I mean,
yeah, nobody would live there anymore. A lot of it had to
because
do
of the stories.
And
okay.
Yeah, and then it just kept getting worse and worse and worse until the team that helped take it over locally in Buffalo and an investigator from Calgary, they were just funneling money out of it. The team locally was doing their best to try to do what they could with what they were getting in, but it was just so hard to manage when they had to keep sending money to Canada. And then it fell back.
And why did they have to? Did I miss something? Why did they have to send money to Canada?
The owner bought it. He was a paranormal investigator from Canada. He was on a television show in Canada.
Oh, that's right.
And yeah.
Did you ever go to the courthouse to see the records for the house?
Oh yeah.
And how far back did you go?
I have it dated back to the 1700s myself right now with the help of local historians, folks that work at different.
And did you look in newspaper clippings or anything that what happened to the owners? If they died in the house? Was anybody murdered, suicide?
There's a lot of folklore as far as murders go. We have a newspaper clipping of a brother shooting his brother in the back of the house in the forest. We have
maybe that's the body thing. It's something about detectives never found something.
Well, there's a burial plot for him. I'll talk to you off the air. I can't. There's some things I can't say right now,
right?
Just because of what's going on with the filming and stuff. But when we end the show, I'll tell you.
I wonder, are you working with anyone, or has anyone ever been there from Northwestern University? I don't know why I'm getting that, or maybe Northwestern something north. I don't know where Northwestern University is. So.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a possibility. We have University of Buffalo, Alfred State College, St. Bonaventure University students helping.
I'm looking up that northwest.
Or maybe northwest of is there a road near their property on the northwestern side?
Maybe. I'm not familiar with all the names.
Northwestern it's
in Illinois. Northwestern University's in Illinois.
Yeah, but there's also a town in Illinois called Hinsdale. And a lot of people get that mixed up too.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
Could you imagine going on a road trip to the Hinsdale house to the wrong Hinsdale? Oh my God.
That wouldn't be too good. I
Hey.
could see me doing that because I don't.
I can
have-
see you doing that too, Jim.
I can't. I'm not good with directions. Wow, there's so
Oh,
much
man.
history with it. It's really interesting.
Well, you know what? Really looking forward to coming up there.
Oh,
Bruce.
absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
We might bring Jenny along. I think Trish is going to tag along too.
Cool.
Yeah.
Oh,
well,
in September? Yeah, maybe.
yeah. So,
Yeah, I'd like to. I mean, if I can come up when you guys are there, if I'm available, I'd love to.
I hope so.
I'd
That'd
love
be
to
nice.
walk the property with you, Trish, and you can point out like
Yeah.
little X's on places and.
Well, yeah, and even if I can't make it and you all just, FaceTime me or something, I can pick up energy, through electronic devices too, or even pictures and stuff. So
Yes, definitely. Well, we're going to let you go, Daniel. Thank you so much for coming
Thank
on the
you,
show.
Daniel.
Thank you,
It was
Daniel.
a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you for being on, buddy.
Yeah,
Okay.
having
looking
me.
forward to it.
We'll talk to you later. Wow, that was interesting. I really enjoyed that.
I did too.
Yeah, it's a lot
It's
of good
kind of
information.
spooky. It's spooky. It's very spooky. I like to
Oh, I'm excited now.
check it
I'm
out.
yeah.
I was excited before, but now, getting some of the history and how active it really is really
Yeah, I
sets
like
the
how
excitement
Trish
factor.
could feel things. It's really very interesting. Very, very, very interesting. Okay, moving on to our next segment. I want to thank Carnation for sponsoring us tonight and every
Thank you,
night of the
Carnation.
second hour.
Thank
But thank
you.
you. Thank you for
Thank
doing
you.
that. Make sure you get some Carnation instant breakfast or some evaporated milk. Make some pumpkin pie. Although it's not the holiday season, there's a
Mhm.
lot of different pies you can make. Thank you, Carnation. Okay.
Speaking
so,
of desserts, real quick, did you guys see Little Debbie is making ice creams out of all their snack cakes now?
No.
no.
Yeah, it's supposedly supposed to hit the shelves today. Like all their famous snack cakes are now ice creams, and
Oh,
I already
wow.
got the betas, so I'm not too worried about it. So
That sounds good.
No,
I never was really into the Little Debbie's, but
they were nasty. I'm not so.
what was that?
what was that?
That wasn't me.
That's a treasure.
something in my kitchen, it
alien.
sounded like.
It's a monster. Very spooky.
Oh,
Okay, we have
my.
a lot to, well, we have a couple of things that happened this week. Wasn't Trish mentioned that how are we going to do this? We're going to do what do you guys want to do first? You want to do the bomber?
Whatever your
I'll
heart's
go to the
desire.
bomber.
Whatever your heart desires, son.
Okay, January 31st. What was it? How many years ago was this, Sean?
1956.
66
56.
years ago.
Yeah, that's
Do you want to do it because it's you posted that nice article on Facebook? Do you
about
want
the bomber.
Yeah, you did.
Did I? I guess I did. I don't remember. Interrupt with-
Did you read
What-
it?
what
That's
fasc-
way before
Well,
my
it
time.
was-
No,
What
what
happened, Pat?
fascinates me about that whole thing, back, what is it, January 31st?
It's the
1956.
anniversary yesterday.
Yeah, a bomber ran out of fuel, so-called ran out of fuel, and went into the Mon
Monongahela.
River. I ain't saying that word, Mon River.
Monongahela.
And I'm telling you what, and a lot of people are claiming it's still in the river, but there were
It would be
people that
it wouldn't be there. It would be disintegrated, don't you think?
that's what they
The
think.
river's
But
so
there's a lot of people that also that saw eyewitnesses saw the military picking it out of the river
Mhm.
and putting it on barges and taking it.
I've heard a little bit about this,
Like-
from living here in Monongahela.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Monongahela.
Did you see my kid trying to say Monongahela?
Yeah, it
on my
was cute.
Facebook page?
Yeah.
If
that
you
was
haven't,
cute,
check
yeah.
it out. That'll put a smile on your face.
Yeah, it would.
But anyways, I've been, we went to different like community events and stuff over the years, and it's come out, people talking about the planes that have crashed in the river, boats that have sunk, and all kinds of stuff. But I vaguely remember hearing some stuff about that.
Yeah, well, they said that KDKA Ken Rice, I believe. No, it wasn't Ken Rice. I can't remember who it was. KDKA, I guess it was the radio station. They called in and said that he used to be in the CIA, and they went there and the military went and did take the plane out at night in the middle of the night, and there were some people that actually saw it, like you said, Sean. They said, well, what was it? Was it some kind of military spy stuff, or was it an alien,
or somebody from Russia? Because I do believe they were saying that was like the start of the Cold War.
Yeah.
So
that's really interesting. They said it just disappeared, so they couldn't find it. They dragged the river, could never find it. So I'm saying, and I don't know if anybody listening, I say it was the military took it out.
I agree with you, but I also, because according after that article, if you read all the comments that people put, a good friend of mine, his dad was working at J&L Steel Mill, and they told them to be quiet. They were not allowed to say a word what they were doing. And I found out through some of these feedbacks was that they actually closed the mills down for about 4 or 5 hours while they got that plane out.
Wow.
So
I didn't hear that.
Yeah. And I got the guy, the author of that story, and I'm going to contact him and see if we cannot get him on or be.
Oh, wow, that would be really interesting.
Yeah.
I find it fascinating. Anything like that, buried treasures, lost ships, sort of like the ships that went down in the Bermuda Triangle. And they said that that might be a sort of portal too. Apparently, there's a lot of weird stuff that goes on.
Well, you know what about the Bermuda Triangle? When I was in the Navy, I went in and out of that Bermuda Triangle.
Well, was it a special spot in the Bermuda Triangle, Sean?
I actually did a report on that back in high school.
I did too. There's a spot. There's a spot. It's not the whole triangle. There's like a sweet spot.
Yeah.
I'm so thirsty. Yeah, it's really. I found it really fascinating. There was something else we watched. There's in was it Lake Michigan? There's something else that was lost down there too, a ship or something. I have to do some research, and I will bring that on the show next week. I just thought it was fascinating.
Well,
and then, go ahead.
When you're talking about Lake Michigan, it was on Oak Island.
Yeah, I love
one, and there were saying that there was a Union cavalry that actually stole Confederate gold and silver, and they were putting it on a boat to take it somewhere, and they actually just they just rolled it off the ship into Lake Michigan, and there's a big thing about that.
Well, when I was doing my research for that, I was on YouTube, and there's a lot of fascinating things that we don't know about Pittsburgh too, by the way. And it goes back to the 40s and the making of the Amman and the tunnels and all this interesting stuff. So we're going to have to talk about some of those stuff because it's really interesting. Why can't I bring this up? There you go. What's that? Tony says there was a rare ufology story he was reading about in the Bermuda Triangle being a worm. Oh, yeah. A lot of movies and a lot of series, on television are always about the Bermuda Triangle, how there's a portal and a lot of people just disappear. And it goes back to what is that? Area 51, Trish?
Yeah.
There's a lot of weird stuff.
Well, I think a lot of bodies of water, like even like Lake Michigan, all the Great Lakes actually have been, there was, I've lived off Erie and Ontario, and there's crazy stuff that goes on in those places. So I think a lot of bodies of water are portals or wormholes or whatever, for travel. Like that. So because people always report UFOs coming out of the water in those places. So
a lot of crazy stuff that's happening, especially here in Pennsylvania. There was how long ago was that, Sean? Jason, the bridge. Was it last week?
Yeah,
last week. Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah. They just got the crane and got the bus out recently.
How was that? What day was it?
Someday last week. I don't know.
I don't.
We didn't have the show. It was after the show.
Yeah.
Okay, we talked about that and how there's a bridge in Pittsburgh, in Frick Park. Is it Frick Park?
Frick Park, yeah.
Frick Park.
That a bridge collapsed at 6:40 and Squirrel Hill. Was it Squirrel Hill? I can't remember.
Squirrel Hill.
Yeah, and it collapsed about 6:30 a.m. But there's just so many weird things that are happening in Pennsylvania. Like a week before that was the asteroid, and then the monkeys escaped with the infected monkeys. And Trish, what were you saying that could be something weird going on? You said
Oh, well, it's been once a week. So
Yeah,
because the asteroid was like the first week of January, right? And then it was not till around New Year's, and then the monkeys, and then the bridge. And before that, weren't there back in December? Is that when we were talking about Mothman, like different sightings, kind of?
Yeah, we were talking about Mothman. And
so it's patterns, you know, because these things, if you look at other places that's happened in the same sequence, in the same pattern, you know, so like San Francisco or something, it all correlates. So it'd be interesting. We should go back and look at the dates of those as well.
Well, you know, we were talking about Mothman and the bridge that went down. What was that bridge?
Oh God,
Point Pleasant.
Well, that's
Point Pleasant. Yeah.
Yeah, and it seems like there's Mothman. Maybe someone saw Mothman down in Squirrel. You never know. Well, I told you it's flying around close by.
Here's the crazy part about that. They'll get a little political. When that thing went down, Joe Biden was in
It just
town.
happens.
But here's the deal. That bridge's been there for a long time.
Deterioration, the cold weather.
But they were just there.
Bridges weren't designed back then to accommodate as many cars as now.
Inspected and they said it was okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They always inspect bridges. And I'm sure they inspected that one, and all of a sudden it just went down.
Well, you know what? I was thinking too, you know how safe bridges are? And there's that one in Chesapeake Bay Bridge. I cannot stand that bridge. Is that the one that goes? There's two bridges I can't stand. The one that goes over the Chesapeake Bay. It's that real tall one. And then there's the one that goes underground. No way. Could you imagine what would happen if I don't want to go there?
Oh my goodness. So years ago, this just all resonated with something. I must have woken up in the middle of the night and wrote down something I channeled or was dreaming about or whatever. But I always remember it because I didn't know what it was referring to. And I had written, burn all the bridges and drain all the lakes and you'll discover the truth. And I'm like, that's really cryptic, but
well, yeah, it is really cryptic if you think about it. Scary as hell.
Yes.
I would have been terrified if I'm on a bridge and it goes collapse. And then there was one car. It was a black or blue, dark color car. It was right at the edge, and it did not go. Well, when I was watching doing this research, reading about Pittsburgh and about all over the country, there's tunnels, and how safe are those tunnels that go into the mountainside? Like, how safe are those? I mean, there has to be one that, if you think about the most dangerous places to drive through, you're going through a mountain. It just seems like how do they make them? Like, what keeps them from collapsing? I mean, come on, we're talking about tons and tons of soil.
The way they distribute with the ceilings, that's why they're rounded like that.
It's like how do you trust them? I don't know. I guess I'm getting paranoid now.
The ones going out to Turnpike out east. Is that what you're talking about?
I'm talking about even the Fort Pitt tunnels and Squirrel Hill tunnels. I mean, what you're going through those? You're going underground. I don't know.
Well,
it just seems weird.
And
going
there's
mountainside.
In every culture, in every ancient culture and native cultures, there's always the stories of the extraterrestrials that live in the hills or in the any type of mountain, or like inside the mountain or inside the hill. I'm not talking about on top of it or in the woods or anything. It's literally talking about underground.
Yes.
So I find it interesting that especially recently, there's been so many stories coming out about things with caves and underground tunnels and all of that.
There's a lot of stories about those tunnels. Tunnels seem like
the tunnel monster's going to get you.
Yeah, this tunnel monster. They're like a portal.
I had growing up and when I was young and middle aged, I enjoyed going through tunnels. Now I get claustrophobic when I go through the tunnels, man.
Yeah,
I love it, especially if you got a V8 with a nice exhaust on it.
No, there's a phenomenon, Augie, about slowing down. It is a known fact. It's sort of like there's a phenomenon when you drive through the fog.
And how people
People,
slow down before
they
going up
don't
hills in
slow
the winter.
down. No, that is not true. Do your research. They don't slow down driving through the fog. They speed up and they don't realize they're doing it. And that's why there's a lot of accidents in the fog because their perception is off. People that slow down in the tunnels, it's because of the way I was reading up because I told you I was doing research.
Tunnel vision.
Tunnel vision. Yes, it's sort of like you can't tell how much space you have, and it's the most dangerous. Think about it. It's the most dangerous place to have an accident because you can't swerve out of the way. There's nowhere to go.
No.
So you're just driving straight. You get in an accident, you're going to get hit.
But that was the biggest fear during when they had them. Whenever they had those Iraqi people coming, what were they called? Assassins? What were they called? The people who would kill themselves?
Suicide bombers.
Suicide bombers, or no?
There's a name for them.
A lot of people were afraid to go through the tunnels because they could have easily, they always thought that they would pretend that their car broke down in the tunnels and everybody would be stuck there.
I have to tell you. I have to tell you a story. My good friend, this is embarrassing. She broke down in the tunnels. And she said it was the most horrifying because people were giving her she was late for work, got the wrong keys. Something happened. She didn't have enough gas. She didn't have enough time to get the gas. She thought she was going to stop at the gas, but she couldn't get. She broke down inside the tunnels. People
Oh my God!
were so mad at her. She stalled it for like 3 hours.
Oh my God! They didn't come and tow her out.
There was no way because she ran out of. Think about it. She ran out of gas in the tunnel. Where was the people going to go?
Nowhere.
There's people ahead of you side by side. It was a nightmare. She said she didn't know what to do. She said it was awful, but I thought it was pretty funny. That's something I would not do. I wouldn't do that.
I wouldn't do it. No, tunnels, I get claustrophobic.
Me too.
Yeah.
I used to drive through. Oh, never mind. We want to go there.
Why not go through it? Yeah.
So you guys had something fun this weekend?
Yes, we did. It was a good investigation. Yeah.
Okay, now tell me about this Buxton Inn. It looks nice. It's really pretty in there. I like to go there.
Right, John, start us off.
Oh yeah. So we went down there and we got the most haunted rooms there, and
did you ask for a haunted room?
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
Did you sleep together?
No.
Heavens, no.
God, no.
I did that once. Never again.
That boy snores too loud.
You got your CPAP.
Yeah, somebody else blows it out somewhere else all night long.
Yeah, you're we went down there, and it was a very interesting place. A lot of history to it.
Well, tell me about the history, Sean.
Oh God, I'm not good with that. I know it was built in 1812. And
so what makes it haunted?
Well, what was that lady's name that was an opera singer that was one of the owners?
Bonnie.
Bonnie.
Then you had Mr. Buxton, and then Bonnie's cat. His name was Mr. Buxton as well.
Yeah, Major Buxton.
Major Buxton. That's it.
And we took a bunch of people out on an investigation, and we were allowed in 3 places. In the dining room, down in the tavern. That's a cool story, because back in the early 1800s when it was built, it was actually like a tavern, like a bar type of deal. And so you know how steps are like 3 inches. You go up 3 inches up each step. Well, right in the middle, they had a step that went 6 inches high. And what they told us was because if somebody decided to rob the tavern, that they would be running up the steps, that they would actually trip and fall on their face. You know what I mean? So, I mean, you had to be careful going down and coming up. I don't know. We talked to Bonnie down there in the tavern, but there was a neat coincidence about it. That Buxton dude, he didn't seem to be a nice person because for the longest time we were talking to Bonnie in the bar, and it was a nice cheery, beautiful energy. She was answering our questions. I got it on video. And then
Yes, Sean finally bought a video camera.
Yeah, I did. And then all of a sudden, the air in the room just changed to not nice energy. It was mean.
Who's the mean person? Mr. Buxton.
Mr. Buxton. And I think what happened to you guys over in the other place, because it kind of happened. You heard.
When you guys were in the wine cellar and we were in the tavern, or the other way around?
The other way around.
So we were in the wine cellar and you were in the tavern.
Yeah, I think so. Either or, whatever. But what did you guys hear?
Well, I know when we were in the tavern, we had a lot of response with the spirit box, and we found that there's actually 4 spirits that were there. We can't really pinpoint who they were. There was a child spirit that we were told about too. We didn't get their name. Nobody knows the child's name, but they were like, there's a little boy spirit here. And actually, I have to go back and listen to the EVPs, but we all heard a child voice come through the spirit box, which was pretty cool. The REM pod hit, which was really sweet. It was right up in the middle of the room. There's no EMF or anything around because we do a sweep with our K2s and other equipment to make sure there's no interference. So we had a good couple solid hits with that. And then, like you said, the people that were there, I think we had like 5 people. It was nice. They were participating, asking questions and like really into it. And I think that, just having everybody's energy there really helped, the spirits that were there to communicate with us. When we were in the wine cellar and you guys were in the tavern, didn't really have anything with the REM pod over there at all. The spirit box, we didn't have anything. So we tried the old school flashlight method, which, a lot of people are on the fence about that. But if you do it correctly, it can be, positive. And I believe it actually was because, we had a lot of, on command events, with questions we were asking and, not exactly sure who it was over there. I think Bonnie was there. Mm-hmm. Major Buxton, not exactly sure if it was him or somebody else was there as well, but I did experience what you were talking about. Like it was one type of energy and then it seemed to like change a bit, like halfway through, which is really, really different.
Because, Well, go ahead.
I was going to say, having the 2 most haunted rooms in the place, what did you experience anything?
Yes, I did.
What did you experience, Sean?
This is what I experienced. And I swear on my father's grave and everything, this is true. They always said that they have a ghost of a cat that roams through the building.
Okay. Did it meow at you?
No. I was like,
it was
like 6 o'clock, 6:30 in the morning. I felt this, like, how a cat.
Oh, when they do that paw thing?
Right next to me, man. It was doing this shit. And I was like, damn. So the cat decided to come to me. But what was crazy, the room that Jason was in, that's the room that usually the cat hangs out. But he decided to come over to my bed and freaking wake me up like that. The beds, they were crazy, man. They sat so damn high.
Oh my! Yeah,
I had to roll in the bed.
I'm 6'2" and I needed an elevator to get in.
Why do they do that? I wouldn't be able to do.
So if you walk by it, someone wants to grab your ankles, they could just reach out and grab.
Is that why?
Yeah, you have a little midget under there snatching you up and taking you
spirits
down.
Under there, like in Child's Play, the dolls hiding under there and just cut your Achilles tendon off.
Oh my god!
We had dinner. We had dinner down there in their diner, and the food was very, very good.
Yeah, it was really good.
What did you get?
I got seafood Chesapeake. It was all kind of seafood in this little.
Sounds good.
It was good. What you have, Jason? You had that.
I had the New York strip steak special with a baked potato and
sounds
vegetables.
Delicious.
Oh, it was.
It sounds great. So, when you go to this place, were you were only confined to your bedroom that you could investigate, or how did
No,
that?
no.
They let you have the whole floor after
Um,
people left, or
oh no! After people left, we were confined to our rooms to
And
investigate.
outside,
one
but it
could
was a little too
so the
cold.
people there could participate with your investigation that were there?
Yes, whoever rented a room that night, because they have four
That's
other
so cute.
buildings that they have four other buildings on their property, and people were staying in. It was like -7 degrees, so we didn't go
It was
outside.
really cold, yeah.
It was cold.
But the people that investigated, it was from 12 to 2 ish. Ended up going a little bit later to like 2:30 because there had to be a staff member, with the group of people and everything, and they have to shut the bar down, and obviously because alcohol's out in the open and stuff like that, which is understandable.
Right.
So it was like from 12 to 2:30. We started off in like the dining area, trying to communicate with spirits there, and then we split up. And we did the wine cellar and the tavern, and the activity was actually pretty bumping down there. So
Yeah.
before we knew it, it was like 2:30. It's like, wow, that was pretty cool. And then after that, it's like head back to our rooms, and since they're the most haunted rooms, of course, we got to investigate those too.
Yep.
And
Mhm.
yeah, we didn't. Me and Russ, we didn't have anything happen, crazy in our room. The only thing was I put a lot of my equipment away. Had my cases sitting up against the wall, and probably around 4 o'clock in the morning, one of the handles on my case just slammed down really hard.
Oh wow!
Kind of, startled me a little bit, but I was like, oh, okay, and that was it.
Yeah.
Nothing else that night there.
So would you go
Russ
back?
snoring.
Oh yeah, we have to. We made it. We made it. They asked us to do it for 3 times. So January 29th, we did it. Now we're going to go back down on the 19th of February and the 26th of March. And it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. You can come down. You'll have fun. It's only a 2-hour investigation, Jen. Seriously.
You gonna go, Jenny? You can share a room with Sean.
I don't know. Let's ask my magic orb.
No,
share a room with Sean.
No.
Oh Lord.
Okay. Let's see. Should I
see
go?
Who comes running out first?
God, I can't see what it says. Prospect. Good. Okay.
See, you have to go. You can ride with them too.
Yeah.
You guys can ride together and shoot the breeze.
I don't think so. Let's see what it says.
You can bring her son with
This
us.
thing doesn't even work.
Was that a magic 8-ball?
Well, I got it at a flea market.
Oh boy.
Okay. Was there really a no?
I feel like
No doubt.
Magic 8-ball from a
about
flea
it.
market might have.
Oh, great. Thanks.
It's going to give you the honest truth.
Cannot
the off-brand 8-ball.
tell now. Are you psychic? How you do it? What do you do? Should Sean and Jason go back to Buxton Inn?
Shaking that thing, they're pretty good.
I need reading glasses. Indication says yes.
Oh yeah, we are definitely. And there is a place over on Route 8 in Glenshaw where I used to have my office, and it's an old school. And I'm contacting the owner tomorrow, Paul Kolwick. He's a very good friend of mine, and he said we can come in there and investigate anytime we want.
Magic orb.
There was a cemetery up there. I can't remember when Russ and I went to the supermarket to grab some things. The lady at the checkout was talking about a cemetery. I cannot remember the name of it. Maybe Russ could chime in and he might know it.
Oh, hell.
She said it's really haunted up there.
Russell, I seen Russell in the video. What's so funny? You should have did more. Why didn't you? I was like waiting for you to do it, and you guys didn't do it. So I thought
service was not very good on the cell phones up there, and I couldn't attach to Wi-Fi for some reason. So it was like hit and miss. Especially down in the tavern in the wine cellar, there was nothing. There was no service. At all. Yeah. And I could have got our rabbit ears out and got some foil and tried, but
well, are you guys going on one like it's really like people call you to tell you, like, listen, Sean, I don't know what to do. There's this creature in my house that wants to
We
haunt
haven't we
me.
haven't gotten any of those yet.
No, those are
No.
funner, I
Or
think.
again, the
Yeah.
Hinsdale house, so that'll be exciting.
Yeah, that I'm looking forward to that. I am.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd bring some holy water if I were you.
Why?
No.
No.
Why?
No,
He
no.
said it's
Well,
all good
I
spirits
know,
there.
that's what
Well,
he says.
here's the deal. You bring holy water, you try to smudge something, and I think Trish can attest to this. It's like putting a Band-Aid on something, man. It'll be
Yeah.
gone for a couple days, 2 or 3 days, and then it will come back with a vengeance on your ass because it knows what it wanted you to do to get rid of them. Am I
Well,
right,
yeah,
Trish?
I experienced that firsthand. Remember with the
Yeah.
poltergeist stuff.
Well, yeah, I mean,
your doggy's cute.
there's always going to be
I
the
thought it was a
negative.
rabbit.
And in the Hinsdale house, there was definitely something that I think he's fallen asleep. This is my healing Jasper.
He's
He looks
so
like a little
cute.
gremlin.
He
What's
loves
his name?
you. He keeps kissing you.
What's his
Jasper.
Jasper?
Is he a
Looks like a
Chihuahua
gizmo.
mix?
Yeah,
He's a
where's-
papillion.
A what?
Papillion?
I never heard of that one.
Where's Sporn at? Where's Spore?
I don't know. He's probably the one making all the noise earlier.
Huh.
But yeah, when you do things like that, it doesn't really affect. I mean, sure, it raises the vibration and everything, but you're right. As far as it's not a permanent fix, definitely.
No.
But if you get to the root of the problem, sometimes, sometimes it could be demonic. Sometimes it could be just really angry spirits
That's
have an issue
99.5%.
that they need dealt with. Whatever. It's kind of like people, and I was in customer service forever. And if you actually talk to people who are really, really angry, there's usually a problem. And when you get to the root of the problem and attempt to fix it or then it usually goes away. So
Well, that's true with anything, I think.
I mean, I remember when I worked at the post office one time, I was at McKnight Road one, and we had the windows in front, and this lady got out of her car and she was ready for a fight, even when she stepped out of that car. And I'm praying, said, Lord, don't let me have her, don't let me have her, don't let me have her. Sure shit, she came up to my window, and before she could say anything, I said, did you get your haircut done today? And she said, yeah. I said, my God, it looks really good on you. And I diffused that right there.
Yeah, you did.
Just smell like you got something right here.
But no, I mean, seriously. But it's a good place. It's a good investigation, and the people who work there are friendly, very, very friendly. Yes.
Well,
you got to come down, Jenny. Bring your son and your daughter-in-law with you.
Oh yeah, they'd have fun.
They would.
They would. I know my son, my younger son, he would definitely like to do something like him and his wife. They're into all that. They used to work at a scare house. They had the most coolest makeup that they did. They loved that. I don't know how anybody could work at scare house. It's a scary, but it's a haunted. They do it for Halloween. It's really scary. But I am doing a. Joe is telling us that we're going to be having a subscription YouTube channel where we'll have content that will not be on here or our regular YouTube channel, and it's the whole UPRN network. And so it's going to be really cool that you can watch stuff that we normally don't show. Like you get content that's not, and it's a subscription, and I think it'll be really good. So we'll be doing that. And I am doing something different on Sunday. I'm going to try. I didn't do it this Sunday because I woke up. I took a nap and I got a headache. And not a headache. I woke up with an earache. Oh my God. I couldn't hear. It was like, oh my God, I can't hear. It was ringing. And so I had to cancel last Sunday at 7 o'clock. So I'm going to try to do it 7 o'clock. It's going to be Chasing Prophecy off topic.
Really?
So yeah.
I saw that.
Yeah, you guys can come on with me if you want. We're gonna I guess it would be next Sunday.
It's Super Bowl.
February 13th is the Super Bowl.
Oh yes, 2 weeks.
Yeah. So I won't be on the Super Bowl because no one will probably watch it. I don't know. Maybe I don't watch the Super Bowl.
I don't
So
watch it
maybe I
either.
will. So I probably will still do it because I really don't watch the Super Bowl. But
Cincinnati, he's going to win it by
well,
three
what
and a
time
half.
is the Super Bowl anyways?
6:30 usually.
Well, maybe I'll do it early. Who knows? Or I'll just skip that one. But next week will be So You Want to Write a Novel. So Linda Kessler is going to come on and she's going to say how she got started and what to do if you want to write. And then the next one is on the carnivore keto, which you know me, I do both. I just started doing carnivore. Let me tell you, the first couple days was so hard.
Because you have no energy.
I had like withdrawal, actually, like an alcoholic or a drug addict would have from sugar. Because when I cheated on Christmas. Remember, I cheated 3 times, and I put on 15 pounds doing this. First, it was when I had COVID, and I kept on. I'm embarrassed because I when I eat, when I am sick, I want to eat. I don't know why. It feels like I need to, what's that word? Starve a fever.
Starve a fever, feed a cold.
Yeah, something like
You're
that.
not supposed to eat.
Yeah, you're not supposed. When you have a cold, you're supposed to eat. But
Drink
when you
whiskey.
was it fever? You don't eat. I forget which one. One of them. So I when I was sick, I thought, I'm sick. I need nourishment to get better. And then one night, I'll never forget. I didn't feel sick. I just had a headache and a stuffed up nose. Okay. Well, after my headache went away, I'm sitting in front. I'll never forget it. I'm watching. I forget which series was on Netflix that I watched. I can't remember. Downtown Abbey or something. Downton Abbey. I think it was that. So I poured myself a rum and had my Coke Zero. I'm all ready to get it. I'm going like this.
Get it.
I don't taste anything. It was like, there's something wrong with this Coke. It's flat or something. So I go, wait a minute. Oh my God, I think I have COVID. So I went and I was eating Halloween candy, and I started eating it, and I was like eating all this candy just to see if I could taste it.
But you could taste it, so
I was thinking, can I taste it? Is it? Do I taste this? And peanut butter did not taste right.
Oh wow!
Because I had peanut butter Reese cups. Okay, so anyway, so I cheated that day, and then Halloween came. I cheated that day. But then the cheating for Christmas came. The whole Christmas seems like 2 weeks. I was making cookies, tasting everything. And Christmas, I ate cookies, and I said, I'll just finish off this because might as well. Already screwed up my diet. Might as well eat that. So I was withdrawing from the sugar. Let me tell you what. When I did carnivore, I tell you what, it was when I started carnivore. I felt
sugar
like
is more addicting than most drugs.
Jason, I felt like I was dying. I was like, oh my God, this is horrible.
I noticed you looked a little different then.
Yeah, you did.
I didn't want to say anything, but
why am I frozen like this?
I don't know.
Frozen in
I
time.
don't know.
Like you all can still hear me.
Oh, you're
I
frozen.
don't know, Trish, but she's so shocked that I was like, having withdrawal. Yeah, sugar, man. That's
no. I was going to say the Nestle thing. I forgot about that. The water that they were putting sugar in the water.
What?
I didn't know that.
Bottled water. Yeah.
Are you kidding me? That's
just like the regular. That's supposed to be.
I didn't know they
water.
were doing that. When did they do that? That's horrible.
Oh, it's
no, but I tell you what,
I saw it on something. A bunch of shows did stuff on it. So.
I feel so much better. But last night my dog woke me up at 1:50, and I've only had let's see how many hours it is I've been up. Yeah, I slept I went to bed at 11:30, so I didn't have much sleep last night. So I feel like crap right now. I feel like I'm gonna fall asleep. But yeah, I believe it. I swear, my inflammation has gone way down from giving up the sugar. We'll see what happens.
Hey,
I'll try.
Trish, talk about your show. You had 2 shows now. I watched them. They were pretty decent. Talk about yourself.
Yeah. So, and really, something really profound happened today.
Oh, good.
After, I always get downloads and stuff and live synchronicities after I
Get it,
speak
Pap, get it.
That scared me. Go ahead.
So today, I had Ken Edwards, the Rune Walker.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Yeah, that was
And we
really
didn't have
good.
enough time to talk about. He's also a cancer survivor.
Oh, wow.
World Cancer Day is this Friday, so he's actually going to come back next Monday, and we're going to talk about his cancer survival story. But we were discussing the runes and how everybody's connection to nature and the earth, and runes go back to your roots and ancient trees. And he had mentioned the aspen tree, and the aspen tree represents endurance and resurrection. They aid the dead in their path to rebirth, actually, but they also symbolize protection and facing one's fears. So this morning I woke up, and all of a sudden the first thing that came across my news feed was it had Aspen's Allies on the top, and it's this story about this little baby who needs surgery very soon. She was just diagnosed with, I don't know if I can pronounce, the craniosynostosis. So they have to raise this money for the deposit of the to schedule the surgery by February, by this month. And the interesting thing, so the aspen tree, meaning the tree of courage, facing one's fears, the only doctor who performs this surgery is called Dr. I'm sure it's pronounced differently. The way it's spelled is Fearon, Fearon. And I was like, well, backwards, that's no fear. You flip everything around, you transmute the energy. And then also on my show, I was talking about how, they always say you either sink or swim. And I don't believe that, because I believe both are a struggle. So I was like, you don't sink or swim, you float, right? Because that's letting go. That's letting go for the control. Well, the parents of this little girl, and she's in the Topeka area, they own a big business called Midwest Float. So I'm like, there you go. Obviously we're like, I'm supposed to, we're always guided to people and places where we're meant to help or do something in some way. I'm like, how am I going to do that? Well, there's any money, there's these babies all over the world that need these surgeries, and the group, any money that doesn't go to this baby will go to, it's called Cranio Care Bears. And that made me think of, all the healers and stuff we have on the United Public Radio Network. It's kind of like that. It's like everybody has their own unique gift. And when you come together and you do something with that, helping people, even like in spirits, as far as haunted places and healers and everything like that. And so it kind of is like the Care Bears,
Yeah, that's a great.
They put their, they all have their different little personas and shine their lights together to defeat the villains. So her name, yes, it's Aspen's Allies. And there's a Facebook page, if people want to donate, or Cash App, Venmo, things like that. So
that's a wonderful thing. Very interesting. Hey, Sean, what was in your drink?
It's iced tea.
Okay.
Gold Peak. I was thirsty.
I'm thirsty
my buddy
too.
Tony, my friend Tony, thought I was drinking some
that's what I
alcohol
thought
there.
you were too for a minute.
No, I'm still sober.
Oh, it's
Coming
good.
up 31 years.
That's awesome, Sean.
31 years.
31
How long you been in the
that's a long
business?
time.
Over 32 years now, I would say.
Wait,
Well-
it was 31 because it was just 30 in 2021, and now it's 2022, so it's 30.
I kept saying over 30 years. 1983 is
Sean,
when I
do you
started.
sponsor anybody?
I used to. I don't go to the meetings anymore
No.
because it kind of like changed, and I was brought up in like old time recovery. I mean, they were strict then, but now I really don't know. I really believe that I went to the meetings. I was doing 2 meetings a day, 7 days a week. So I was doing 14 meetings a week. I didn't have a life. And I was
Mm.
thinking, you know what? I got to just start doing something. And what was crazy was that I started ghost hunting.
Yeah.
So it was
Well, it
something.
keeps you busy and out of trouble.
It does.
So,
I
what's
mean,
your show about tonight?
I was going to talk about the bomber,
Which,
the airplane,
yeah.
and the Buxton House, and whatever else comes out of my mouth. You know?
Well, that's exciting. I
Yeah.
know. Next week keep we have Bad to the Bone
Yeah, paranormal.
Paranormal. It's a group of women, I think.
I saw their Facebook page.
I
That
think
seems
it should
pretty
be
interesting.
interesting.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about some other things that are in the news. Hopefully, we'll find something. I'm sure something will happen in Pittsburgh. Something.
Yeah.
The tunnels will collapse, and you can say, "I heard it first here."
Oh my God,
I have my mind.
you would
Don't say that.
you
Well,
freak
I
out.
don't know.
Oh my God, Jen,
There's so many weird stuff I've been dreaming lately. So I'll tell you after the show.
Jenny, honest to God, if I'm in a tunnel and it falls through,
That means I had a premonition. I
yeah, and
mean,
I'd be
Mothman
dead.
is
I'd
next.
be dead.
No, you won't.
Yeah, I would.
You'll be the one that got out in time.
Oh no.
Don't say you heard
Oh,
it here.
and happy Imbolc, for
What's
pagan
that?
people.
Emble.
Imbolc is today.
What's that?
It's the midway point between the winter solstice and the spring equinox.
Oh, right.
Oh, well,
It's
there's
like
only 40,
when the light half
47
of the year
days
is turning.
after today.
Yeah,
47
that's
days till
good.
spring. Well, we're going to get out of here, folks. So call it a night. So
That
Sean can get
concludes
ready
Torture
for his,
Tuesday.
Yeah.
So Sean can get ready for his show.
Gonna go lose a couple kidney stones from all that tea real quick.
Oh my Jesus. Oh my jeez.
Oh no.
Oh my
I
God.
got another bottle downstairs in my bedroom, so I'm good.
Well, that's good.
I'll make sure you call me from the hospital so I can hear how it went.
All right.